Hi, this is a video explaining homework 4, part 1, number 1. I'm just going to do parts A and D here. If you have questions, you can ask more, and maybe we'll do more of them. I'm going to do each of these twice. I'm going to use the table, the z-score chart, and I'm also going to use Excel, which you'll see is much faster, but we'll get the same answer either way. So let's do part A. We want the probability that we get some z-score that is less than negative 1.35. In this problem, we are using a standard normal, which means we have a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. If we look over here, where is that? We have that somewhere. That's what this notation means here, right? Mean is equal to 0, standard deviation is equal to 1. That means we can use our table. We can use our z-score table without doing any hard work, really. So let me do that. So anyway, I have to look up negative 1.35. If I go over here to my z-score table, this is the same one that is in your book. There's a link on our site for it. Here's negative 1.3, and I have to go over to where the hundreds place is 5. So let me zoom out a little bit so I can see a little bit better. So here's where the hundreds place is 5 up here. So I need where these two overlap. So I'm going to take the hundreds place down to 5. And here, this number, 0.0885, is the z-score probability that goes with the z-score of negative 1.35. So let me just type that in here for my answer. 0.0885. I can do the same thing with Excel. We're using the standard normal, so I'm going to type in normal distribution, and this means our standard distribution, so I'll go ahead and click on that one. I just need to know the z-score. Well, I know my z-score is negative 1.35, and I need to know if it's cumulative, and this is always going to be true for us. Basically, what it means to be cumulative is that, say 1.35 is right here, it'll tell us the area underneath the curve from negative infinity way out here to negative 1.35. And I get the same number, with a little bit more precision in Excel. With this problem, it's a little tricky because we have the absolute value of z is greater than 2, but really what we're trying to do is we're trying to do two things. We're trying to figure out the probability that z is greater than 2, but also the probability that z is less than negative 2. Remember, with these absolute value bars, if we plug in a negative 2 into here, it becomes positive 2. So if we plug in negative 3, say we plug in negative 3 right here, this will become positive 3, which will be bigger than 2. So let's look at the table to find these two values. Probably that z is bigger than 2. That's a little tricky. Let's do this one first. The probability that z is less than negative 2.0, right? That's the same as 2. So I go over here to my table. Here's negative 2.0, so it's 0.0228. I need another 0 there. All right. For this one, our z-score table always tells us less than. So if we're dealing with the z-score that is greater than 2, we will actually have to do 1 minus whatever the z-score is that comes up at 2. So now let's scroll down. We'll find our z-score at 2. Go down to positive 2 here. Positive 2 right here is 0.9772. So my z-score probability is this, like 97%. But remember, that's the probability that we are less than 2, but we want to be greater than 2. That's what this notation says. So we have to do 1 minus to get the complement. And notice we get the exact same number both times. We're not done with the problem yet. We have to add these two numbers together. Let's move this up here so it looks better. Because we have the absolute value of z, so we can be either less than 2 or we can be, we can be greater than 2 or less than negative 2. So let's add these two together. Group plus group. And we get this value using our table. Using Excel, we have to do pretty similar thing. Do equals normal standard distribution, our z-score. So we can't put absolute values in here. Our z-score is going to be less than -2. So I'll type in -2, true for cumulative. And so that's just going to give me the first number. It's going to give me this number here when I hit enter. Notice it's slightly different only because here we get a little more precision. Here it's rounded at the 4th place. If you remember that it's symmetric, you can just multiply this number by 2 to get your answer. Or if you don't remember that, that's okay. You can just add on, let's put parentheses here, 1 minus normal distribution, standard normal distribution, the z-score of 2. True for cumulative. Let's put one more parenthesis there. Okay. Notice this is the same thing we did before. This is telling us the probability that we are less than -2, this first part. This one over here is telling us the probability that we are greater than 2. So when we add them together, we will get the same number that we got here. All right, so we got those two values. Oh, they're rounded. They're rounded differently because here we had a little bit more precision with one of them. Remember, let's delete this real quick. Let's delete that. Boop. Boop. See how it went out to the 5, right? And here we're just using the table, so we have a little less precision. All right. Well, if you have any more questions, let's get my equation back. If you have any more questions on this problem, let me know. Thank you very much.